Hey, hi to everyone. MEM School of Engineering, Department of Mechanical Engineering, online class, subject code ME8791, title Mechatronics, unit number 2. Myself, Saravanan, Assistant Professor in Mechatronics Department. Okay. So, this is the course objective and outcome of Mechatronics subject. So, this is the syllabus for Mechatronics. Okay. So, textbooks and reference, unit 2. Okay, last class we discussed with the introduction of 8085 and architecture of 80585. Okay, we discussed about different kind of functional blocks of 8085 and applications of 8085 and the significance and features of 8085 like that we discussed in the last class. Okay, today we are going to see about the pin diagram of 8085. Okay, so what is this different kind of pins available in the 8085 and the function of pins of 8085 like that we are going to discuss. Okay, let's review the last class. That is 8085 introduction, features. So this is the architecture of 8085. Then different kind of functional unit examples. So like that we discussed registers, ALU, flag registers, then address bus, control bus, data bus, then registers, general purpose registers, then other type of special purpose registers. So temporary registers like that we discussed. Okay. Now we are going to see about the 8085 pin diagram. It is a Intel manufactured microprocessor. So it is having 40 pins. Okay. So generally, if they are giving the pin diagram, means we need to know what is the power supply, where is the power supply, and where is the ground. We need to know because for the IC we need to know. So what is the power supply required? What is the pin and power supply and the ground? Because if we are giving incorrectly, means the total IC will be affected. Okay, so that's the concept. We are going to see the first power supply, that is VCC. It is a 40th pin, and VSS, that is ground. It should be 20th pin. So it is a pin diagram. So it is working in a plus 5 volt power supply. Okay, plus 5 volt power supply used for 8085. So in this pin diagram, we have different kind of pins. So first we see the address bus. Okay, like that we will one by one we will see. So first we will see the address bus. So these pins are carry the higher order of address bus. Okay, that is 21 to 28. So these pins are carrying the address of the higher order. Okay, that is A18, A8 to A15 they having. So this address is sent from microprocessor to memory. Already I said address is a unidirectional bus. It will send microprocessor to the memory. Okay, so only they are putting arrow mark to the microprocessor to memory like that they are putting. So arrow mark in the outside of microprocessor. A8 to A850, it carries the most significant 8-bit of memory input output address. Okay, so this is the higher order address. Then data bus. So data bus is of 8-bit bus. It is used to transfer data between the microprocessor and memory. Okay, because if we want to read the data, we need to send the address location from microprocessor to memory. Then we need to read the data from memory. Okay, so then if we want to write the data from microprocessor to memory, means we need to send the data to microprocessor to memory. Like that, we need to communicate with the bidirectional format. So data bus is a bidirectional. Okay, so higher for reducing the more number of buses, here we are using address data bus, and the lower order address bus will be multiplexed. It is carries the least significant 8-bit address and data bus, that is AD0 and AD7. Using ALE address latch enable, we can demultiplex the address and data bus for the required functional unit values. Then control signals. So control signals like that. So there are read and write. Already we said RD bar like that. If we are putting means that is active low. If it is 0 means it will be enabled. If it is 1 means it will disabled. So this is RD. This signal indicates that the selected input output or memory device is to be read and is ready for accepting the data available on the data bus. So WR. So this signal indicates that the data on the data bus is to be written into a selected memory or a input output location. Okay. So read and write will be always sent with the along with the controls bus. So it will send from the microprocessor to the memory device or input output like that we can send. Okay, this is the main control signal of the 8085. Then status register. So stat register which is select the format where we are going to read the data or write the data like that. So whether we are going to write the data in a memory or read the data in the memory or write the data into the input output device or read the data into the input output like that we need to define. Okay. So IOM, this signal is used to differentiate between input and memory output memory operations. That is, when it is high indicates input output operation, and when it is low then it is indicates the memory operation. S0 and S1. So these signals are used to identify the type of current operation. So that is 00 means it will be write, 01 means it will be read. Like that we can define. Okay. So already we saw the table in the 8085 architecture. Then power supply. There are two power supply signals. One is VCC. That is VCC indicates plus 5 volt power supply DC. So VSS indicates ground signal. Okay, that is 20 and 40. Okay, let's see important signal of the interrupt signal 8085. That is interrupt signals. Okay, first we need to know what is the interrupt. So okay, it is interrupt is a unwanted signal which is interrupt the main program. Okay, it is a interrupt is a unwanted signal. Unwanted signal or high priority signal like that we can say. For example, if if any main program is executing, so sometimes interrupt will be produced. So when interrupt is more priority than the main program means the main program will be stopped, then interrupt routine will be executed. So after execution of the interrupt programming, so the main program where it is started from, it will be rescheduled. That is re-executed from the last instruction executed like that. So this is the process. Okay. So in interrupt we have different kind of uh, priority level. So trap is the highest priority. Then RST 7.5 next priority level. Then 6.5 next. Then 5.5 and INTR. So trap is usually used for power failure and emergency shut off. Okay. Then RST 7.5, it is a maskable interrupt. It has the second highest priority. So next one is maskable interrupt. It has the third highest priority. So it is 5.5. It is a maskable interrupt. It has the fourth highest priority. So INTR means interrupt request. It is a general purpose interrupt. It is a maskable interrupt. It has the very lowest priority in the interrupt signal. Okay. Okay. Simply uh, we can explain with the simple examples. If you are using the mobile phone means if you are typing the message, okay, this is the one of the operation. If someone calling you means it is the highest priority operation. So automatically the messaging process will be disabled and the main call process will be available in the main screen. So this is the high priority and low priority concept. After attending the call, you speak. So then for 5 minutes after that you cut the call. That means you are rejecting the high priority signal. So after that we are going for a message where we are typed like that. previous location, you will send. This is the best example for the interrupt signal execution. Then externally initiated signals. So what is externally initiated signal means? It is used with the input output devices. Okay, that is INTA means it is a interrupt acknowledgement signal which just go to the external device. Okay, so resets in. So this signal used to reset the microprocessor by setting the program counter to 0. So if you enable the, if you press the reset means the program counter will be 0. So already we know that program counter is the 16-bit register which is store the address of the next instruction which is going to execute. Then reset out. So this signal is used to reset all the connected devices when the microprocessor is reset. Okay, reset out. Then ready signal. So this signal indicates that the device is ready to send or receive data. If ready is low, then CPU has to wait for ready to go to high. Hold. So this signal indicates that another master is requesting the use of the address and data buses. So HLDA, so it is indicates that the CPU has received the hold request and it will be used in the bus in the next clock. That is mainly hold and HLDA used for the DMA process, that is direct memory accesses. Okay, that means if a external device which is going to access the memory directly without use of microprocessor. Okay, that time we are using hold and HLDA. Okay, if I am an interface device means I am going to send the hold signal to the microprocessor. So like that I am going to access your data bus and address bus directly for the memory accessing process. Like that we are sending hold. If microprocessor, if it's accept means it will send the hold acknowledgement. Okay, you can access the address and data bus as well as memory. Okay, like that they are using the hold and HLDA. Okay, for after this process, so any input output device directly can access the microprocessor memory, external memory. Next, serial input output signal. So it is a signal which is used for serial communication between microprocessor with other devices. Okay, for example, if some of the interfaces will be work with the serial communication, that means for every clock pulse we can send the only one signal. So that is serial input output data line and a serial input data line. So serial output data line is a set or reset as a specified by the SIM instruction, that is output of SOD. The data on in this line is loaded into accumulator whenever a RIM instruction is executed. Okay, SIM and RIM will be like that we can show. So clock signals X1, X2, a crystal RC, LC, NW is connected at this 2 point and is used to set frequency of the internal clock generator. So this frequency is internally divided by 2. Okay, so clock out. So this signal is used as the system clock pulse for device connected with the microprocessor. Because here mainly already we see that in microprocessor architecture, the timing and control unit will generate the time pulses for the all functional blocks. So we need to design a perfect clock generator for the microprocessor. So here they are using RC oscillator and LC oscillator like that. They are infinite. So most of the microprocessor is the crystal oscillator. So it is a 12 megahertz or 20 megahertz like that. So they are giving by the two channel X1 and X2. So that is divided to the divider and given to the microprocessor with respect of 5 kilohertz or 5 megahertz or 3 megahertz in the range of crystal oscillator depends. Okay, these are the pin diagram of 8085. Okay. So let's see another revision of pin diagram 8085. So it is a 40 pin package. It is having a higher order address from 21 to 28 and the lower order address and data bus in the from 12 to 19. Okay. So if you are demultiplex the AD value means we need to enable the address latch enable pin. Okay. Then it's a power supply pin will be VCC and DSS. VCC will be plus 5 volt DC. Then interrupt. Okay, interrupt is one of the best process for external accessing devices. That is the maximum priority will be trap, then minimum priority will be INT or that is interrupt request will be minimum priority. Then serial communication, we are using serial output data and the serial input data. For frequency generation and clock pulse generation, we are using X1 and X2, it is a crest oscillator output. Then we are using hold and HLDA, which is used for direct memory accessing process. Then status signals. Okay, status that is RD, WR, that is RD means read, WR means write. So that means where we are going to read, where we are going to write like that, discuss with defined by the S0, S1 and IO pins. So depend on these three pins, the memory read, memory write, input output read, input output write like that, defined by these three signals. Then ready, reset in, reset out like that, defined the processor which is going to execute. Okay, so let's see one by one. See the pins. Okay, so till now we discussed two topics, that is 8085 architecture. We've seen that different kind of block, functional diagrams, functional blocks like that we discussed, and pin diagram of 8085. So why we use of a pin diagram is the most essential means if you are connecting the IC with any devices, if you are connecting in the PCB board means we need to know all the pins. Okay, if you are giving a reverse voltage, reverse power supply, if you are giving it, it will be very dangerous to the, so 8085. Okay, then we need to know the different kind of operations of pins. Okay, next class we will see the addressing modes and instruction set. So like that. So till now we see the uh, basic structure of 8085. Then we are going for the programming. If we want to programming the 8085, we need to know what is instruction. So what are the types of addressing mode and what are the types of instruction set, like that we need to know. Then timing diagram of 8085. So that is timing diagram means the execution time of particular instruction. Okay, that it depend on the every instruction execution and the registers used. So like that we are going to discuss in the future classes. Okay, okay, thank you. We'll see in the next class.